My longest trip of the 2023 season took me through the northwest region of Algonquin Park. I spent 6 days on North T Lake, Bigger Lake, and back to North T Lake. The trip was originally supposed to be 10 days, but I cut it short due to the forecasted heat wave. The temperatures were going to be in the mid-30s during the day and the 20s overnight, with very little wind and very little cloud coverage. It was going to be consistently hot the entire time. But we stayed at amazing campsites, got to see a moose, and for the first time in my life, I saw the northern lights. It was pretty incredible. Join me as I take you along for the journey of my 6-day heat wave in Algonquin Park. We launched onto Canon Lake early on a Thursday morning to a gentle tailwind behind us. It was hot, but it was tolerable for the time being. We made our way across the lake and into the Annabelle River, taking us towards our 2 portages for the day. Technically, we wouldn't actually be inside the borders of Algonquin Park until we reached the second portage. Oh no, Elo, we're going into the lily pads. Elo, save us. You have to steer us, Elo. Oh no! We just crossed Round Lake, Wayway Lake, with a nice tailwind at our back. And now we're just paddling the river to our first portage. We have 2 portages for the day. Like a 60 meter and a 250 meter, both very short, very easy. And then we're on North T. And North T is a beast of a lake. It's very large, very long, and it can get very windy. Day 1 of our trip. It's exciting. Look, she's trying to eat the flies. Did you catch it? I don't think he got it. Maybe next time. Okay, well, let's go. I'm on the 255, the second and last portage of the day. Now we're about to head out onto North T Lake. Here's at the end of the portage. There's some garbage. There's that. There's the waterfall. Are you ready to go, Elo? Thankfully, the same tailwind at our back guided us through the west arm of North T Lake. I ended up stopping to check out the small stranded island campsite in the middle of the lake, and it was the perfect place to call home for the evening. What's up? You excited? What? Someone is having fun. So we just got to the campsite. We're on the tiny, I say tiny, little stranded island in the west end of North Tea Lake. It is one of the smallest islands I've ever been to, but these are the types of sites that I love. It's very windy out, white capping. I just walked around to scout out the island. Yeah, the island is stunning. I was just scouting to make sure that there's tent spots, somewhere to hang my food. A good tent spot right there. There's a breeze throughout the site because of how small it is. If I were to go to the rocks at the west point, it's crazy windy. But on the east point and in the middle of the site, it's tolerable. And Elo is a little too excited right now, so not that she needs a timeout, but I just want to calm her down a little bit. Oh yeah, there's no firewood though, so there's a little bit left over. So most of this looks good. I'm just going to try and cut those bigger pieces, make sure that they're dead. And then probably later when the wind dies down, I'll probably go to the north shore and try and collect a little bit more. Okay, so this is what was left over from the pile over there. It's not as bad as I thought once it's broken down. This will get it going quickly. There's just a couple handfuls to throw on and a couple pieces that will burn for maybe 5-10 minutes each. Probably like 45 minutes of fire, 30 minutes of fire. It's a small fire pit, which means small fire, which is what I prefer anyways, because I'm just one man with Elo. Elo, I think we got to start setting up camp. Are you gonna help me set up camp, Elo? Okay, tent is set up. Bear hang is done. The bear hang is very close to the tent, as you can see, but the island is tiny. You can't really get further, and I'd rather do a proper bear hang near the tent than an improper one like 10 feet further away. Like if we were talking deeper in the forest, that would be another story. With an island this small, I'm very happy with that bear hang. And then the rest of my gear is just stored under the tarp. So, keep a clean camp. Just a few things lying around there. Tent, food, gear, and canoe down by the water. Gonna get some color today. I just made dinner. I made the Alpine Air chilaquile verde with carnita. And it looks pretty sloppy, but it smells insane. It smells really good, so I'm excited to dig in. I'm trying to enjoy the sun in this beautiful evening. Can you really enjoy the sun, Caleb? Oh, baby girl. She sits right on me. What's up, baby girl? I have her on a leash because I don't want her jumping in the water right now. And we're right at the end of the water. The wind started to calm down, so I went for an evening paddle to check out some campsites. There was a mix of beach campsites and island campsites to choose from, many of which were very beautiful. As I rounded the corner from one of the islands, I saw one of the most beautiful sunsets imaginable. It only lasted for a few seconds before finishing its journey below the shoreline. That was also my cue to head back to my island campsite before darkness took over. I went to the eastern shoreline of my tiny island to check for the moonrise, because the full moon was supposed to rise shortly after the sunset. My timing was perfect and the moonrise was absolutely insane. I really couldn't believe how beautiful it was. This is my view from my tent right now. Obviously the iPhone doesn't do it justice, and it's very bright. You hear the water flowing against the rocks because it's still a little bit windy. Just a gentle flow. It's pretty peaceful. Pretty peaceful way to fall asleep. Elo's one step ahead of me. Good morning, Elo. How'd you sleep, Elo? You had a good sleep? Let's check out Camp Elo. I just woke up. It's day 2. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous sunrise. We just went to the rock to look at the rock at the front of the site, the east side of the site. Watch the sunrise for a bit. We get to watch the rest of it through the trees. Elo, sit. You're such a good girl, Elo. Why are you such a good girl? Oh, you're the best. Uh-oh. Someone just woke up. Whoa! Don't jump on me. Elo, this way. This way. Elo, this way. Hey, this way. This way. No, you get more food later, Elo. Look at me. We just gave her breakfast. So now she wants some more. I had an easy day planned for day 2. I was going to be staying on North Tea Lake, but I was moving over to the East Arm. For reservation purposes, the West Arm and the East Arm are 2 separate bookings. There wasn't going to be any portaging on day 2, and it was only going to be around 1 or 2 hours of paddling. The forecast was calling for mid-20s with few clouds and only gentle winds. It was very hot out, but the worst of the heat wave was still yet to come. So I'll just give dialogue while Elo stands in front of the camera. It's about 9:15, 9:30 on day 2. Just packed up camp, and the plan for the day is just to move to North T East. So it's about an hour and a half of paddling. And that's the plan. Gonna find a nice site on North T East, set up shop for the night, and then the next 2 nights are on Bigger Lake. And then I'm gonna move back to North T after that. That's the update for now, right, Elo? I just set up camp on the island campsite. I took the first stranded island with 1 campsite when you turn the corner from North T West to North T East. It's also close to Bigger Lake, so it'll make my travel day tomorrow just a tiny bit shorter, leaving from this island. So anyways, the main campsite is up there. There's big open spots here, which I'm assuming most people probably choose somewhere there to pitch their tent. I chose this space because I like how it's tucked away. Okay, quick little side note. This is the reason why about 5 years ago I bought the Midori 2, returned it right away, and bought the Suma 2. The Suma only has 1 door, 1 vestibule, which I prefer because it's a 2-person tent, which means you're either using it solo, with a dog, or with someone you're close with, like a partner in a relationship. In all those scenarios, you don't really need a second door and second vestibule. It's just more space required. So if you look around here, this opens up nicely. On this side, there's rock. On that side, there's tree. And directly behind, there's rock and tree. This would not have worked with another one of those vestibules. So I like it because I can pitch the tent in tight spaces and corners like this, where you don't always have the extra space for a second vestibule to come out. So I'm very happy with the Suma 2 for a 2-person tent, when most of the time you'll only need 1 door, 1 vestibule anyways. It just helps with versatility. And also I just like how when you're inside the tent, there's the sense of a back and a front, where when there's 2 doors, 2 vestibules, you kind of feel like you're sleeping always in the middle, if that makes sense. So here I like just the sense of space and surrounding when I'm inside the tent. Psychologically feels a little different. And Elo just sleeps wherever I tell her to sleep. Elo likes the tent. And she knows when we get in the tent, she goes straight to bed because we have very long, tiring days. Alright, Elo. And now I'm going to go explore the island. Elo, let's go. Come on. Let's see if I can go to the other end of the island. It's a very small island, so I assume it shouldn't be a problem. It's very open, spacious. It's all pines. Just tall pines, the whole island. So I don't think I'm going to be able to hang my barrel anywhere. Now I'm dizzy. Here's the thunderbox. It's completely in view, but it's far enough away that it's still private. Okay, Elo, let's try this way. This way. Whoa, okay. I did not know this. What's going on here? Well, this is someone's island. Oh, wow. Artie's Island. In memory of Artie Trudell, Algonquin Park Ranger, 1996 to 2022. P071. I'm not sure what the P071 means. This is a nice little tribute. Okay, so I guess we're on Artie's Island. Okay. Ooh. Oh, beautiful. This is stunning. Look at this view. So that's where I came from. You can see the campsite on the point in the distance. That's the direction to Bigger Lake. And that's the other island with 1 campsite on it. Okay, so let's go back in. This is pretty cool. I didn't know that this open rock existed. Elo, where are you taking me? Okay, so it's all closed off here. Elo, come on. Let's go back. You're a rock climber now? Uh-oh, don't attack me! Which way are you going? You want to come this way? Okay, was that funny, Lo? Can you stop jumping on the water, Elo? What are you doing? Are you itchy? Probably like 4 o'clock now. The plan is just to lounge for a couple more hours, and then similar to last night at like 6:30 I'll probably get in the canoe, watch the sunset from the water like last night. That's the plan. Such a good girl. Oh, there you go. She wanted some camera time. The evening of day 2 was very similar to my first day. I went for a long paddle to check out some campsites and watch the sunset, and then I went back to my campsite just in time to watch another spectacular moonrise. I couldn't have asked for a more perfect first 2 days of the trip. There was absolutely nowhere to hang the barrel on this island because it's just all tall pines with no good branches. So I improvised. I know this isn't going to stop a bear, but my barrel is hidden underneath my chair. Stay. 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 Take it. Okay, that's it. All done, Elo. That's it for now. day 3, the heat wave had begun. I had around 3 hours of travel to get into Bigger Lake, my destination for the evening. I packed up camp and got on the water early, before the sun would be at its hottest. I made it to the campsite that I was aiming for on Bigger Lake, only to find a group already there. Thankfully, they were on their way out, but they were packing super slowly, so I stayed nearby and relaxed in my canoe. The sun was getting hotter with every passing minute, and I couldn't wait for them to leave so I could unpack my gear and go for a swim with Hilo to cool off. No more swimming, okay? Now you need to dry off. Let's go. Let's go. Other one had no good landing, and as you can tell, it's very windy, and the wind is blowing directly into the rocky landing, so it was way too high risk. So I didn't even go on shore to check it out. And now just paddling back to my campsite area, which is sheltered from this beast of ocean. 7 o'clock. Usually it dies down by now. Like 30 minutes to do what it should have been a 10-minute paddle. Been inching my way towards my campsite. Eagle's been on the ground napping most of the time. This is crazy wind for 7, now it's 7:30ish. I just took a little detour into the creek. I forget the name, but I think it's like Laughlin? Laughlin? I'll look it up after. I just paddled up 5 minutes just to see if there's any wildlife. There isn't. It's very windy on the water, so I figured why not just paddle in the calm creek instead. There we go, baby. After the sun had set, I was treated to a sky full of stars. The moon was going to rise directly across the shoreline from my campsite, but moments before that happened, I turned to the northern shoreline, and for the first time in my life, I saw the northern lights. What an absolutely amazing experience. Then, I turned my attention back to the east and watched my third incredible moonrise of the trip so far. The strong glow from the moon brightened the foreground of my composition while photographing the northern lights. The timing for everything to line up like that was extremely lucky. The evening of night 3 might have been the best nighttime experience I've ever had in Algonquin Park. As beautiful as night 3 ended, the morning of day 4 didn't disappoint either. It was my only full rest day of the trip, where I didn't need to pack up camp and move to another site, so Elo and I gave the gorgeous sunrise our undivided attention. But I'll stop talking now and let you enjoy the montage. I was feeling really crappy on day 4. Despite wearing lots of sunscreen and drinking plenty of water throughout the trip, I think the sun had finally gotten to me. My stomach was not happy with me, my nose was stuffy, and every time I exerted energy, I felt nauseous. It didn't help that the campsite was protected from the westerly winds, making the air feel stale with no breeze to offer relief from the scorching heat. The only place that had a breeze was the rocky shoreline, but being at the rocky shoreline meant being under the hot sun, and that was pretty much the opposite of what I was trying to do during day 4. I decided that day 4 was going to be the laziest day I've ever had in Algonquin Park. No campsite reports, no searching for wildlife, no leisurely paddles. It was going to be the first time I'd ever spend a full rest day at a campsite without even getting into my canoe. I did make an exception to swim though. I needed Elo to let out some energy, and the fresh burst of cold water would hopefully make me feel better as well. Okay, well, you want to go swimming? You can go in. Want to go in? That's it? Go on. Go in. Good girl. Look at this view. Whoa. No, don't attack me, Eva. Don't attack me. We're just hanging out at our campsite on a rest day on Big R Lake. Crazy sight, even crazier view. So beautiful. Uh-oh, we got trouble. We got trouble over here. What are you doing? Elo, why are you such a weirdo? Okay, Elo, come on. Go swim. Go swim now. Go get it off you. Let's go. Let's go. Someone got a little too excited and jumped right into my tent. Hopefully it's just these two. And I'm going to cover it with duct tape. Elo just got a little case of the zoomies and jumped right into my tent. And now I have her attached to my waist just to calm her down so she doesn't get zoomies. And I'll give you a quick campsite tour. So this is the front of the campsite. It has huge panoramic open rock, very overgrown grass, which makes it good for insects and wildlife. Right when I pulled up, I saw a snake down on that side. There's toads and some still water here. But yeah, massive open front, and it slopes gradually into the water, which makes it really good for swimming and loading and unloading the canoe. The view is honestly one of the best I've ever seen in Algonquin from a campsite. So let's go inside the campsite. This is where I chose to pitch my tent. It's a small-ish tent spot. I have a 2-person, so you can probably fit a 3 or 4 person. This is the duct tape for the hole that she ripped. Another tent spot here. Those are pretty much the only 2 good tent spots. There aren't really good tent spots in this campsite. Center box is all the way down there. It's a little bit of a walk. This is also a big attraction of the site. The seating is not very good. There's that. There's this one single bench which is circular and not 100% stable. I rebuilt the fire pit, the rocks, just to make it better. That rock wasn't on there. Probably weighed like 80 pounds that I picked up, but you need that flat surface. It was a nice addition. So, but the downside of this fire pit, as cool as it looks, is if you see the angle of the back here, it angles upwards, which means the smoke from the fire bounces off and comes right back into your face. So as cool as it is to have a fire, it's very, very smoky. Like this whole area just fills with smoke because it doesn't go up. It comes right back. So I made a fire here last night. I think I'm going to use, there's a secondary fire pit on the beach. Sorry, on the rocks out front. I think I'm just going to use that secondary fire pit tonight. I have my gear laid out there. You can probably pitch a small tent there if needed. I use this for the bear hang. I didn't see a better branch, and even though this is right in camp, it was a pretty good hang. Yeah, so I figured I can see it from my tent. If any animal were to come try and get it, I can get out of my tent and do my best to prevent it. You can see the secondary fire pit right there. And that's it. There are some trails that go inland. A lot of deadfall behind the campsite. Kind of an alarming amount of deadfall. You can even see here some massive trees that have fallen. It's a beautiful sight. So this whole interior gets shade at all hours of the day. From from morning to sunset. The rock, even though it faces east, because it's so large and it wraps around and covers such a wide angle, it actually gets sun. I think it was like till 4:30 yesterday that it lost sun at the tip out there. But yeah, so this rock gets sun all day, even though it's an east-facing site, which is pretty sweet. For most of the afternoon, I literally sat and did nothing. I needed to let my body cool off. I listened to some music quietly on my phone while staring out onto the absolutely breathtaking backdrop of Bigger Lake. The view from my campsite onto the rolling hills of the opposing shoreline quickly became one of my all-time favorite campsite views in the park. The moonrise was a little bit later, so it allowed the night sky to get completely dark and full of stars first. There wasn't a cloud in the sky either, so the stars were unobstructed and shining bright. I sat under the night sky for close to 2 hours, and for most of those 2 hours I got to enjoy the sound of wolves howling in the nearby distance. It was a pretty cool experience to end the day. I woke up at 5:45 a.m. with the plan to get on the water early. I had about 4 hours of travel, and I wanted to get it out of the way before the sun would be at its hottest. It was forecasted to be 30 degrees before noon, and to continue climbing from there. It was a windless, cloudless day, and even at 6 a.m. when I got out of the tent, it was hot. But first, I gave myself a few minutes to watch a moose on the distant shoreline, and to take some photos of the beautiful sunrise, because it was really quite special. Supposed to feel like 35 degrees today. It is already boiling hot, and it's 7:15 and no wind. There's like 7 kilometers of wind, which is basically nothing. So, and not a cloud in the sky. So it's going to be a hot, hot, hot day. So we've got a couple hours of traveling, about 4 hours. And I want to do that as early as possible for me and for Elo. So the plan is to be at our campsite by like 11, hopefully. Ready for a long day, Elo? We're ready to go for a very, very hot day. The hottest day I've ever had in Algonquin, I think. portage of the day done. Just leaving Bigger Lake. And so we've got a 50 meter coming up, and then the longest one, which I think is like 300 meters. Still not very long. We're making good time. I do not like this portage landing. The landing itself isn't good, but it's also just full of shallow rocks for like the first 100 meters out of the portage, so you need to be very careful and watch where you're canoeing. It's pretty, but not friendly. This is the 50 meter above the falls. Almost. Okay, we're free. Now let's take pictures of this little waterfall. Okay. Oh wait, Elo, this leash is filthy. Okay. Almost ready, Elo. Let's buckle it up. Okay, baby, you ready? Longest portage of the day, Elo. Okay, let's go. Let's go. We're doing the 300 meter portage, taking us to North T, the third and last portage of the day. It's already mid-20s at 9 a.m. So try and tackle the open water as early as possible. For the first few portages we're all off balance and a little bit front heavy. I think I found the sweet spot now. Right? Oh, oh, oh. Risky when you have a dog pulling at your waist. Here's the campsite. The one on the portage, right there. Almost done, Elo. Okay, sit. Stay. Let's go. This way. This way. You're a good girl, Elo. Okay. You're free, Elo. You're free. Let's get you some water. Okay, good girl. Elo, take water. Hey. Good girl. Okay, you ready for our big paddle of the day? By the time I reached North T Lake, the sun was finally getting to the point of being uncomfortable. I didn't want to waste time checking out several campsites. I knew that I wanted a campsite that was exposed to allow for any small breeze to make its way into the site, but I also wanted a site that offered shade to set up camp and hide out from the sun. The island that I stayed at during night 2 of this trip offered everything that I was looking for, and it was available when I passed by, so I took the campsite. I went for a swim right away with Elo to cool down. Go swim, Elo. Cool off. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Elo. Okay, come on. Let's go in the shade. Okay, let's get in the shade. Come on, let's go. Let's go. And let the zoomies begin before I pitch the tent this time. Hey, hey, Elo. Hey, hey. Of course. Stupid campers. Unfortunately, in the 2 days that I was gone, the campsite became a complete and utter mess. I noticed garbage in and around the fire pit. an onion peel in the bushes, sauce stains on the wooden table, pasta beside the fire pit, crunchy snacks all over the ground, Swedish berry gummies all around the tent area, a spoon and fork in the bushes, oh, and a Tylenol pill on the ground, because that's exactly what I wanted Elo to accidentally eat. Why do people have to suck so much? I guess I wasn't going to let Elo out of my sight while I was there. I cleaned up everything that I found, but who knows what I might have missed. It's 12 o'clock, noon, on day 5. I'm back at the same island campsite that I was on day 2. It was very, very hot. We got here at like 11. I'm keeping Elo out of the sun. I let her swim right when we got to the campsite to cool off. Right now it's like 27. 2 it's going to be 29, feels like 31. And then 4 is going to be, I think, like 31, feels like 30 something. I don't know. It's going to be in the 30s. And it's going to stay like that until like 10 p.m. So my plan for the day is to literally just stay in the shade all day. I'm not taking any risks. Safety for me and Elo is number 1 priority right now. We've already been in the sun for a few hours. This morning we got on the water at 7:15. And we got to this campsite at like 10:45, 11. But that sounds early, but honestly those first few hours were very, very hot. It was already like mid-20s, no wind, and not a cloud in the sky. Literally, I can't see a single cloud in the sky. So the sun is hot today. So yeah, I'm going to stay in the shade all day. And then at like 6:30, if it cools down enough, if there's clouds, if there's a breeze, if there's any relief, if I'm not concerned about the heat of the sun, then I'll go for a paddle around and check out some of the vacant island campsites. It was fully booked on the long weekend, and I don't think people are coming in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after the long weekend. First week of back at school as well. So yeah, I think I'll be pretty much alone here on the lake tonight. Maybe 1 or 2 other groups, but if that, yeah, so that's the update. Just gonna sit in the shade and just listen to music. Stay. Stay. Hey, stay. Okay, take it. Okay, wait. 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 Okay, take it. Good girl. Good morning, Elo. There's no time for games right now. We need to pack up. Morning of day 6. Woke up at 5:45 to pack up and get on the water before the heat wave. I think it's supposed to be, it feels like 34 or 37. Don't want to be on the water during that. This way. This way. Come on. Come on. This way. We just went to watch the sunrise from the back of the island. Now we're coming back to finish packing up camp. It's 7 a.m. and I'm so sweaty. It is so hot out. It is scorching out already. Just packing up camp, I'm sweating. Hey, look, come here. Okay, sit. Okay, stay. Look at how calm North T is. I'm just leaving the east side, so this is the west side that I'm paddling into. It's 8 a.m. Last campsite I'm checking out for the trip. I was very close to staying here. I do have a permit, but weather is too risky. It's going to be high 30s. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, and I don't want to be caught in the storms with Elo. But holy cow, this campsite is gorgeous, but it is dangerous. Those are some steep cliffs, and the campsite is just narrow on top there, so not a good place for pets or children. The other side of the island, there's another campsite. Have you ever seen this before? I know you've seen a thunderbox before. Have you seen 1, 2? It doesn't stop there. 3. On an island that has 2 campsites. These 3 thunderboxes are in the middle of the island. So which one belongs to which side, I don't know. And they're so close together that I hope you know the people on the other campsite, because if you don't, you will very soon. I'll let her cool down. We're still on North T. I have a permit for the night. I'm just debating whether to stay the night or not. It's supposed to feel like 38 or 36, which I don't know if that's just irresponsible to be out here with Elo, even in the shade and swimming, I don't know. Or we just paddle back in the 30 plus weather and call it today. Got 2.5 hours more if we do that. And I need to decide, because every minute I waste, it's getting hotter and hotter. I definitely need a nap in the car before we drive home, Elo. What do you think? Elo, you're gonna be passed out so hard on the drive home. You're gonna be just dead in your car for the 3 hours. I'm not even gonna know that you're there, Elo. Can't wait. Elo, you need to stay awake to give me company so that I don't fall asleep when I drive. Will you stay awake and talk to me, Elo, for the 3 hours? Will you stay awake the whole time and keep me company? No sleeping allowed, okay, Elo? Okay, down this hill, Elo, then we're done. Come on, let's go. Ooh. Okay. Well, it's gonna be a windy one. Getting into the body of Round Lake, Mog, and it is very windy. I don't know what time it is, probably 12-ish, 12:30, and there were white caps on the water, and this 30-minute paddle is probably going to take us an hour. I put on my PFD because we're going to be in some large body of water on the river. I didn't feel that I needed it. It was calm and shallow and near shore. Safety is important. It's very hot, very windy. It has been the hottest day I've ever had on a canoe trip, without a doubt. And now this final paddle is just going to drain me. Okay, I'm going to focus on paddling and not talking to the camera. I tried to turn on my GoPro one last time while I was in the middle of paddling the brutal whitecaps, But, of course, it glitched on me. It captured literally one single frame. Thanks, GoPro. It was such a relieving feeling finally getting back to my car after a paddle that felt like it took forever. Before this trip, I had taken Elo into the backcountry for a quick one-nighter, and we had done a handful of multi-day car camping and cabin trips. But believe it or not, this was actually Elo's first multi-day backcountry canoe trip, and she was absolutely amazing the entire time. Other than when she body slammed my tent and ripped a few holes in it, but I'll let that one slide. Well, that took all of 4 seconds. We're still at the access point. We just got in the car. Is that a fun trip, Elo? Are you okay in the heat? Okay, time to sleep for the next 3 hours. I arrived at my parents' house to drop off my canoe. I let Elo chase water from the hose, which is literally her favorite thing to do. Then we went for a quick swim in the pool to wash off. And that's it, the end of my 6-day heat wave canoe trip in Algonquin Park. Thanks for following along for the journey.